Welcome to another episode of Behind the Performance with your host, Stella Stanisberg.
And today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite performers and certified genius, Elon Musk! You would think that Jim is an interesting performer with a wide emotional range and consider parts of his work seminal. You would think that. Just don't come crying to me when the earth has been burnt to a crisp and you're down here eating canned sardines and we're up in space eating our canned sardines.
This video is brought to you by adamandeve.com. Use my code FISH, that's F-I-S-H, and get 50% off one item, plus free shipping in the US and Canada. Some exclusions apply. The Sonic the Hedgehog cinematic universe dashed into our screens and hearts in 2020, and its sequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, grinded down at the speed of sound the summer of 2022. Sonic is voiced by Ben Schwartz.
I'm Sonic.
James Marsden is also in the movie as something.
I hear raccoons have the cleanest mouths of any animal that routinely eats garbage.
But the character who really steals the show is Dr. Robotnik.
I'm all-powerful, all-knowing!
Affectionately known as Dr. Eggman by his enemies, and brought to life by the enigmatic Jim Carrey. The character of Sonic, his girl gang of friends, and his arch-rival Eggman have been around since 1991, as have I. So there is already a lot of groundwork for an actor to pull from while turning this iconic 2D villain into a three-dimensional character for the big screen. The original Sonic games pitted these animals, living in a lush environment, against Robotnik and his cold metal machines. According to the Sonic News Network, Dr. Robotnik is an evil human scientist, boasts an IQ of 300, and is a genuine genius megalomaniac. He suffers from delusions of grandeur. He uses his scientific genius and robotic expertise to create weapons and gadgets in order to obtain power and dominance. And while his methods may change from game to game, they're all done with the same goal in mind: seeing himself in the spotlight.
I'm gonna be a TV star.
He's a bit of a drama queen. Elon Musk is a half-man, half-robot who needs no introduction. I think what you know Elon Musk from actually says more about you than it does him. Do you think he's the inventor of Tesla? Well, then you're a sucker because he actually just bought in early.
It's April Fool's somewhere.
Or do you think he's single-handedly going to save the human race by populating Mars? Do you think he's funny on Twitter?
When the zombie apocalypse happens, you'll be glad you bought a flamethrower. Works against hordes of the undead or your money back.
Because, there's nothing that anyone could do for you. But I think we can all agree that Musk is someone who does all he can to put the focus on the issues that he cares about the most. Himself. Just like Robotnik, he also suffers from ridiculous delusions of grandeur.
We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it.
Uses his scientific knowledge of robots to, dress a guy up in a robot suit. And he's also a bit of a drama queen.
If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing you.
I know, he's a little weird.
Weird?
No
He's
way.
a psychological tire fire.
But he's also brilliant. And his drone tech is revolutionary.
Jim Carrey is a comedian who needs no introduction. But I think we should briefly remind ourselves of how Carrey can also fall into this trap of self-aggrandizing and his own version of megalomania.
Look at your career.
Uh-huh. I have no career.
Your career is...
There's a career, but there's no me. If you take me out of that question, then fine.
I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
His behavior on the set of Man on the Moon was notorious, famously taking up method acting for the role and completely losing himself in the characters. In a bad way. He was impossibly rude to his coworkers, made it very difficult for everyone else on set, and was more than a little bit of a drama queen.
Too late! Too late!
Footage of his antics from set were released years later in a documentary.
Universal didn't want the footage we took behind the scenes to surface so that people wouldn't think I was an asshole.
Carrey hasn't dabbled in those dark arts of method acting since, but I think it's apropos that he might see a little of himself in someone like Musk, a part of his own ego that he may not necessarily like, and his co-workers for sure didn't. I can also imagine that Elon Musk's attempt at humor offended Jim Carrey.
See you on Mars, suckers. Just kidding.
That's the option then.
As I think they offend anyone that knows what a joke vaguely sounds like.
People are so mean online.
In his Inside the Actor's Studio, Carrey notes that a lot of his humor comes from spoofing on people's ego.
The other thing that I was doing was trying to make fun of the leading man and make fun of the ego of the guy who's got the answers and the guy who always makes the right move. I always spoof my own ego. I mean, I make arrogant statements and things like that, and I'm not that way. I have a certain belief system and confidence in myself, but, you know, I do like to make fun of ego and say I'm the greatest thing on earth.
Imagine that you're Jim Carrey, already no stranger to creating caricatures of incompetently powerful people, tasked with bringing an iconic megalomaniac to life, one that is especially obsessed with technology, who also needs the validation of constant praise.
Come on, that's hilarious. What's the matter with you?
And who will lash out with anger at the slightest thing not going exactly his way.
Here's the thing. I'm never wrong.
So anyways, that's how I ended up working for Jim Carrey's mushroom dealer for about a week. He didn't come in, but his photo was on the wall, so.
Louis, did you find a bug?
Look who decided to join us. It's the loud member of the household.
Honestly, I thought I hallucinated you.
I was just about to break down Jim Carrey's performance in the children's Sonic movie.
Whoa. You're talking about the Sonic movies. Okay, you're looking at a Sonic expert and one-time Sonic fanfic creator. If anyone has anything to say about his performance, it's gonna be me. Yeah, me and Louis.
Ooh, yeah, I don't really listen to other people. It detracts from my process.
You know what? I actually think I have a copy of my fanfic somewhere in these boxes. As an actor, Jim Carrey has a huge range and has played characters all over the map. He's especially adept at oscillating between representational acting, like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and presentational acting, like in Ace Ventura. To put it simply, representational acting is when the actor ignores the audience, and presentational acting is when the actor is aware of the audience. They both have their purposes and place in the craft. Like, for example, most of the work I do here on YouTube is presentational because, well, you're right there, silly. But when I audition for a TV show or film, they're usually looking for representational acting, which allows the viewer to be a voyeur. Carrey will often flip between the two acting styles in the very same film, depending on the circumstances. Like in The Mask. You could argue that when he's playing Stanley Ipkiss, he's utilizing representational acting, but when he puts on the mask, he becomes extremely aware of us, the audience. In constructing Dr. Robotnik, Carrey again whips back and forth between the two, creating an internal life for Eggman that is layered and complicated, while also letting him present to us, the audience, as if Dr. Robotnik is reaching through the screen and begging us to please love him as much as he loves himself. In the video games, Eggman is a fairly one-dimensional character because he's a stand-in for larger themes and kind of just needs to be there for Sonic to defeat. But in constructing a 3D version of him, Carrey grounds him in contradictory motivations. Carrey spoke to Eggman's ego in an interview.
He is analogous to a lot of the insane ego that's running us, you know, in all different kinds of realms of life. All of that madness has to come from someplace. It can't just be madness for madness' sake. It comes from a feeling in this character of absolute worthlessness, you know, combined with genius.
This Dr. Robotnik both hates people, but desperately craves their love and attention.
Of course I want a latte.
I love the way you make them!
He needs his sycophants just as much as he wishes to control them.
You're magnificent!
Thank you, sycophant. Your admiration is inevitable.
He's a genius, but this also gives him a destructive ego that undoes whatever noble intentions he thinks he has.
The emerald he seeks could power my wildest designs.
my genius wouldn't just be recognized on Earth. It would spread virally to every corner of the galaxy.
These internal frictions that Carrey gives to Dr. Robotnik bring him to life and are part of why the character has such a strong point of view. Carrey also includes moments of presentational acting that clue the audience into Carrey's personal view of the character.
And that mustache is an outward manifestation of ego.
And real people like Dr. Robotnik.
Like a lot of those good folks, those clever genius types in Silicon Valley, that's not a microchip on his shoulder. That's a quantum database of bitterness.
Sonic is an IP that is kind of known for being self-aware to the point of being sarcastic, and that's why he's my hero. While the rest of the film is a pretty straightforward Hollywood blockbuster, Carrey's meta-commentary on Silicon Valley ego harkens back to the games I know and love. By combining Dr. Robotnik's strong point of view and Jim Carrey's strong point of view about people who operate on pure ego, we get one of the best live-action versions of a video game character to date. Okay, maybe that's not an aggressively competitive category. Sorry, Dennis Hopper.
I'll kill that plumber!
But still, it can be a challenge for actors to bring cartoons to life. I mean, maybe not for Jim Carrey. But there are rabid Sonic fans like me who know the character inside and out. And that's tough imaginary shoes to fill. But fill it, Carrey does. And in comparison, makes me wonder even harder why James Marsden is there other than as eye candy for the moms. No shade to the perfect Corny Collins. The other thing I love about what Jim Carrey does with this role is that it subtly reminds us that people like Elon Musk are also putting on a presentational performance. Elon's entire public persona is a performance, one that is carefully crafted to appease his tech bro army, to increase his personal stock portfolio, and to maintain the fragile image that he's created of a maligned but ultimately great and generous genius.
To anyone I've offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship.
He's rewritten his own origin story to erase the emerald mines and seem more relatable to his fan base. He manipulates those fans by introducing questionable products that don't live up to his hype and doing pump and dump stock schemes. All of this to keep the spotlight on him and maintain a false momentum and clout. But even Musk could not defeat the final boss of cementing a public persona, hosting SNL. In all of my years, I have never seen a host this unfunny and frankly, sad. It was actually the first time I felt bad for this guy. It was his ego that got him on SNL, but his ego is also the reason that he is so deathly unfunny. The same kind of ego that Jim Carrey has made an entire career out of lampooning. Wait a minute. Jim Carrey played a mustachioed video game supervillain, and a year later, Elon Musk played a mustachioed video game supervillain, and then Jim Carrey played the same villain again! Is this anything? Am I losing it? Okay, no, everything's fine. Oh, no! Wait a minute! Chaos Emeralds! Elon grew up in an emerald mine! Oh my god, I am a genius! I have a 5,000 point IQ! I'm going to Mars! And I love method acting! Whoa. Alright, maybe I am losing it. It's been really hot out lately. This heat dome has kind of gotten to my head. Let's finish the video. And then Sonic and Amy grinded down the San Francisco streets until they got hungry and got a corn dog. Okay, I agree, it lacks some narrative structure, but I think overall, it holds up.
Hey, what happened to Knuckles and Rogue? You totally dropped that storyline like halfway through. I didn't know they were gonna have a good date or give it. Not that I was listening.
Sure.
Okay, that's enough. I gotta get out of here. Elon's having a moon fundraising dinner. I heard he's gonna pick a member of the audience to be eaten first.
Ew. Thank you so much for watching, my little hedgehogs. And be sure to head over to adamandeve.com for 50% off one item and 90-day no-hassle returns with my code FISH, F-I-S-H. And hey, if you liked this video, like the video. And be sure to check that you're subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment with how you would take over the world if you were an evil megalomaniac. If you're looking for more insight into acting, check out my video on Nicole Kidman playing Tom Cruise in The Others. Thank you to everyone watching on Nebula, and to my patrons who make these videos possible. If you'd also like to support, head over to patreon.com/Maggie Mae Fish, where you can get early access to my videos and other fun perks. Thank you to H-Bomb for lending me your voice. You're not gonna get it back. And until next time, send Martha to Mars so we can save her for later.